Nope. Yeah, finally, there we are. We should be live now, are we? Give me a 5 please. I do see I do see it in YouTube Studio. I don't see it
Okay.
on D Live yet.
Hi, Leyland.
Hey Leland, yeah, there we are.
High five.
Fine.
Okay.
All right, there we are. We are live finally. Hello, good to see you, Leland. And who else did I see there? Let me see. Okay. Oh, there's everybody. Hi, Rick. Good to see you. Noctur Rising. Mel, Tulip. Good to see you, Cassandra. Kate. Alexia, that's you. That's funny. And yeah,
Everybody.
great. We're finally, and Nancy, good to see you too. I was already talking, thinking we were live. Turns out we weren't, but now we are. Thank you all for being here and for the patience because yeah, had a bit of a problem. Hi, Upfree, good to see you, and Richard. Howdy. And today we're back with Alexia, and we're going to be talking about some more detox stuff. And I'm happy to announce, cautiously happy, that for the first time in 24 years, I'm completely antidepressant free. And 8 attempts, and finally, without any problems, I'm now clean. And I'm still cautious with it, but I'm really, really happy with this. And it was a long, long battle, but I finally found the protocol to get rid of it. And today we're actually going to be talking about this stuff and with Alexia, and she has a lot more tips. Other than that, I want to ask everybody, have you actually done the detox? Because I did. I started. If my nose started dripping, blame it on the detox. I heard from Alexia, I didn't even know that, but your nose starts running like crazy, and itching everywhere. But yeah, I definitely am detoxing very well. Everything is coming out and it's going well. And hi, Jorge, good to see you there from Australia. The Arthurian police state formerly known as Australia. Yeah, I'm so sorry for you guys, but we're getting on that way as well. So yeah, I always have Australia in my thoughts, and I definitely hope that things are getting better for you guys. Cassandra, you're on the detox too. Wormies coming out. Yep, me too. And wiggles in my nose. Yep, we too. And itching in your eyes and everywhere. So that's good news because it means they're fighting back. I even had one day I took the wormwood and I got so nauseous, and I knew they were fighting back. But you know what? I just kept going, and I slept a lot. And you did too, right?
I was just sleep the past 36 hours. Usually I am up and like very involved in full moons, but this one, me and Rick, we would get up for like an hour, a few hours, and then we would fall back asleep, like little naps all the time. And it was actually 2 hours ago. And my husband got sent home because don't you know COVID is at the office. So he has to work from home. And I'm like, okay, babe, I'm gonna go take a nap. I just can't make it through. And he's like, I'm pretty sure you have an interview. I was like, I do, you're right. So I'm very happy to be here, but my mind has been all over the place, scatterbrained this full moon. Lots
Wow,
of
this is a
detox.
tough one, isn't it? Although I haven't done a detox in a long time, I did it now, but I there was a day I was actually awake for 36 hours. You can see it in my stream because my eyes started dancing. It was Thursday. My eyes started dancing and I almost fell asleep during the stream, which I'm very ashamed of. And my one eye always goes inward because as a
Mhm.
child I used to have that, and it was really bad. My mom said, "What the heck happened to you?" I watched your stream and I said, "Yeah, that was me, my eye going all over the place." But yeah, you know what? That happens. And I slept then the next day for 36 hours straight. So yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Shari, good to see you. And Greg, good to see you too. So today we're going to talk about trying to get rid of your medication and what is the safest way to go about it. Now, I just talked about to Alexia about it, and I cannot compare it to Europe because here I just had one antidepressant that already almost killed me, and I know they give in America America, boatloads of them to just one person, which doesn't make any sense at all. So I guess caution is very much needed here. Um, and so do you want to say something about that?
Yes. Okay. This is a subject that I don't think a lot of the people that are new to the detox community really understand how fresh this information is to get out, because up until recently, people were going to jail. And even Carrie Rivera, there was a news article that my friends just found, and she was actually living in Germany and was just apprehended by the police there for her involvement with chlorine dioxide. That's very close to your home, and now you kind of understand why you can't get chlorine dioxide where you live.
I forgot to mention that because, yeah, I tried to find it the same night after our stream. And what do you know? They actually prohibit it completely here in my country. So I could get it in Germany because it just came too expensive for me with the shipping costs and all that.
Yeah.
So I went for an alternative. But yeah, I had no clue.
Yeah. And there's not just one way. So like, I'm always talking about mainly chlorine dioxide, protocol 1000, just because that's what I used. But there are so many ways to get rid of these bugs. I'm not even worried. It's just so interesting to see the lengths that some of these countries go to withhold information and healthcare from their civilians.
I do have a question about that, though, because I did see it indeed. Like Shari says, you can get it at a pool store and at where you clean aquariums with it. But I wonder, is that the same stuff or not?
Yes.
And
that's really important. Do you mind if I share my screen? I'm going to show you.
You can. Oh, wait, let me give you permission to do. All right.
Pulling it up while we talk.
Go ahead.
Okay, so MMS1 is usually what's always talked about when you hear about MMS. However, that's not all there is. There's also MMS2, which is a very, very similar off gas. I'm trying to find it right now. One moment here. And it's protocol 4000 with Jim Humble. And it is a ingredient. I have to send it to myself. It is an ingredient that you have to get at a pool store. I want to make sure I'm saying the right thing. I think
we don't have pools here. Well, we do, but they are like, I mean, people don't have a pool unless you're insanely rich, because there's no use to it with the weather we've got. So
true.
But okay. Aquarium, same.
Okay, there are chlorine dioxide, just the regular chlorine dioxide drops that are in aquariums apparently, because it removes calcium buildup, and fluoride buildup. So if you feel some movement going on your third eye during this time frame, it's actually the decalcifiers working, which I think is just ridiculously crazy. That's part of the detox process. We don't even think about decalcifying our joints and pineal glands. So I'm trying to find, if someone has it, protocol 4000 on educateyourself.com. It is in my chat. I think my husband will be placing it down there soon. However, that is something, if you cannot get chlorine dioxide, if you don't like drinking the chlorine dioxide water and it tasting like chlorine, there is a pool shock that is specified by Jim Humble that you put a tiny, I'm talking like 10 to 30 little balls or sand, like tiny particles of this pool shock, and you take it with a bunch of water, and it actually mimics, it's the same stomach, which is in stomach acid, which is in our stomach, naturally breaking down and killing bacteria. So it's only a supplement, and you have to fill it in your own little capsules yourself. And that is a way to, that's how my husband takes MMS. I don't like it because I'm not a water drinker and you have to drink a lot of water, but that is technically a form of MMS. And I will be getting that protocol 4000 here shortly.
Okay, because, I thought maybe this is a complete different substance. I wasn't sure. They do have it for aquariums, but then there's another thing. They have it obviously for safety, made in special filter tubes, so you can put it straight in the aquarium, because, otherwise people will get that. And so it's even hard to then get it that way anyway, because I mean, what are you going to do with a filter like that? You can't just,
Exactly.
you know. So,
Exactly.
but anyway, then I start with the warm wood and I can get the borax. So I'm getting, I'm going to get that. So, but so
I
far
wish you
it's been
luck.
well.
You're seeing a result. Obviously, this whole time we were talking, like I saw you sniffing your nose. I'm like, that wormwood is definitely working on this girl.
Big time, yeah. And I've been also using the iodine. So on top of that,
What is it?
iodine,
Oh,
iodine. No,
oh, I didn't.
yeah, iodine. That's
Okay,
it.
that's good. How do you
Yeah,
feel?
good. Yeah,
I'm glad.
yeah. I only had the one time the nausea, and then there's obviously nose dripping and the itching everywhere. But yeah, I get it. I mean, I've done it before, so I know, that's the bugs just um reacting. And but yeah, it's now it's all coming out, and not going in detail here, but it is working.
I'm glad. I'm very, very glad. I learned so much from our talk last week about the biofilm, or not the, well, biofilm is scary when it comes out, but the mucus intestinal,
The
what do you call
plaque,
it?
the
Plug, yeah.
mucoid plaque.
And I didn't, my husband and I have seen it throughout this like whole process, and we've been calling it something else. And my husband was just so happy to let you know. He's like, I didn't know that intestinal plaque was what we were seeing. And now it all made sense.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to like give his thanks, because that was a huge understanding of this whole detox, because you see such interesting things come out, and some of it obviously isn't waste or bugs, and
No.
that was probably the scariest thing that I saw come out, and now it all makes sense.
Yeah, because at a certain point you're like, what is that? Well, then it's just
Yeah.
the yeah, Sherry calls it the bicycle rubber. A bicycle rubber is a bit thicker, but yeah, it's not far off actually, because it's literally a rubber what's coming out.
Yeah.
Actually maybe we can use it for something good instead of
Ooh, I wonder. Speaking of using it for something good, I want to put something in everyone's mind and put it at ease. I have been searching ingredients for the shots for a long time, and there have been a couple ingredients in this one that are scary. I mean, when you talk about these little robo
yes.
bugs that you start seeing that start with a G,
Yeah.
the interesting thing with that is that same exact oxide, graphene oxide,
Yeah.
is also found in surgeries that people were using, like if you had a unworkable trauma wound, they would be using these graphene oxide robots to go in and help clean out like shrapnel and chelate stuff from surgery. So I always joked, like when COVID first came out, I was like, they should put something good in these shots to remove the heavy metals and these parasites from within us. And all jokes aside, obviously people are having horrible reactions, but in theory, if we could use these ingredients that are in some of these vaccine, the
Jabs.
injections, then technically they could be used to chelate and work as little robots in us as a good thing. I just don't know how to make that happen, because we
Well,
know that
because
they use it in surgery.
didn't they use because that was a real good one where they used what you call them, these bloodsuckers, these
Yes, leeches.
leeches. They used to do that for that. So why would they ever start using the graphene for it?
Well, we
Well,
know
maybe.
why. They wanted, Bill Gates was involved with all of this, and
Well,
he
yeah.
knew how to get rid of viruses and how to make programs mess up, so that they needed an antivirus. So it's working very similar with the humans and what they put into us. But talk about trying to make a bad substance good. That's the one substance that I'm like, if we could just take over the controlling abilities, I would love to have this substance in me, because it could literally like clear you out if
I
it was
wouldn't
used.
say that, but I know that if you want to know if you do have that in you, you can use a heavy duty magnet, put it against your arm, and then when your skin starts all of a sudden moving, you know what it is. But
Yes.
so what have you found? Because I so far was the pine needle tea, which was quite difficult to find. And when I found it, it's freaking expensive because now everybody wants to use
Yeah.
it.
I
And
don't recommend it at all. The amount of cerumen in it, first of all, chlorine dioxide has been proven to oxidize the graphene oxide. And just the way it works, I actually just did a heavy metal episode on Ricky Leaks, my husband's channel. It was just released, and it's going over heavy metals and the process, why they're in conjunction with bugs. And basically, these bugs use the heavy metal as a little shield, so they don't get detected by our own body's natural policing system that is naturally supposed to go after and kill parasites. They can't see that there's parasites, because these parasites are covered in aluminum and all these horrible insulator metals that don't allow conductive electricity to go through, so you don't ever see them. So that's a really interesting episode. I
I
highly
just
suggest
made
going over that.
Rick a mod so he can put in the
Thank you.
link in the chat on YouTube for those
Thank you.
watching on YouTube. Hey, am in USA. People have the strangest names,
That's so
but
cute.
so there it is. Yeah.
So
Oh, it's
we
on
do
your
have
link
ways to
tree.
get rid of it. Yes, we do have ways to get rid of it. It is easy. And that's another thing I want people, because whenever you go to these shot injury sites, none of them talk about how to get rid of any of these problems. They just show a bunch of people getting hurt with injuries. Like, I never really post videos of that, because I'm like, here's how to get better from it. I don't do the black pills. Like, I only do red pills. And my red pill is preferably C60, has been showing to get graphene oxide out, and chlorine dioxide. They're different points of the scale range. I never recommend pine products. And we talked about this on our last interview with you. Pine products is what I recommend being at the last step of any protocol, just because, for example, it's like something so close to my heart that like many people don't have to deal with. But I was so heavy metal injured from my shots as a child going through school that every time you get a series of shots when you're pregnant or whatever, you'll get a new allergy. This could be allergic to mint, allergic to trees, allergic to food. So my mom always joked around going, every time I had one of you girls, I had a new allergy. And I'm like, it has nothing to do with children. You got a full immunization series when you were pregnant each time. And that gives you a new allergy. So my allergies were for like juniper, pine, like cedar trees. And it was probably the turpentine in those plants that made me have a die-off reaction, which I thought was allergies, but regardless, it would have killed me. That's how toxic I was. So for someone to give a recommendation like a very specific pine needle tree sets me off to no extreme, because if I would have tried that 4 years ago, I literally would have died, because that's how toxic I was. So
wow. Well, how many of those shots do you guys get then as children? Because I had only one for all I remember, actually.
oh my goodness. So I just did a post on Facebook. I'm pulling up here because I had to show people basically my parents, anyone older than in the US, anyone who was born before 87, they pretty much just got 7 shots: tetanus, polio, measles, mumps, rubella, and then like that other word. Anyway, it was only a couple. And then that's 7. That's a lot. But then in 88, the US started getting new cases. And whenever babies were born, they had to go up to, they added hepatitis, they added,
I never even got shots when I traveled abroad, like even though they recommend it, but
it was like 15 by the 90s when I was born. And now it's like in the 20s or 30s
What?
that kids have to have before they're 5.
Well, no wonder everybody is chronically sick in the US.
Everyone
They
is.
literally are. I cannot even begin to
Everyone is. And that's
imagine.
another thing. I think we all are on this spectrum of some sorts, because once you fully understand what heavy metal poisoning is, it's going to line up with dementia and Alzheimer's, and which is really the same exact thing as autism, but they found a way to give Alzheimer's to patients that are babies. So that's where we have these autists who were extremely targeted. I have a feeling that it was like these souls that were sent here to awaken, and like true autists who
Yeah,
have
that's me.
this, yeah, like
Because I didn't
140.
have all those shots. So and I
Sure.
discovered it only this year that I actually have full blown autism, which then explained so much to me. And I'm like,
Yes.
oh, no wonder I'm like socially awkward and all that. And I couldn't get all these impulses, and I didn't realize it until, actually it happened the week my cat died, that I found out. And it was mind-blowing because it explained everything. And so then I started reading up on it, because I literally didn't know that much about it, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Oh my goodness. I'm excited to see your journey the next few months, like with the wormwood and everything you're taking, because like that's huge that you've already put the antidepressants aside, and your body's already, because I spoke to you during all this and you were like, I'm feeling sick today. Like your body's detoxing from that. So it's all working in perfect timing.
Yeah, because
Perfect.
at a certain point I actually realized, because I was on one day on the antidepressant and then 2 days off, and then I was actually 3 days off and one day on. And what I noticed was when I took it again, I got actually sick. And I was like, wait a minute, I didn't expect this, because usually it's the other way around. But no, now I got sick when I took it. And that's when I was like, well, that's good news. So now I'm on day 3 and I'm going to stick with it. And we're gonna see. And I have my dreams back too. I didn't
That's
dream
huge.
anymore, because, well, for all those years I couldn't remember my dreams, and last night for the first time I had like full-blown dreams. And so yeah, stuff is definitely going to change now, and
Yeah.
I do feel it
It's picking
coming.
up pace. That's so cool.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say when you were mentioning how many shots do the kids get here, the biggest thing to understand is even the shots back in the 50s that did save everyone from polio or whatever, that eradicated polio. Look up polio caused by parasites, and you'll see that I think the Draculoneus parasite or something like that caused polio. When you look, and when I tell people like, do not get your animals, don't give them their series of shots, then
Yeah.
people go, oh, what if they get any of the things that dogs get? Look up rabies is caused by a parasite. Look up anything is caused by a parasite. Don't worry if they get parvo. It's a
Yeah.
parasite. You give them an antiparasitic, they'll be fine. And that's what we need to realize is if we get any of these mumps, I wouldn't even be scared if my kid had like chickenpox. Like I'm almost wanting to have like a little human to think about these things, because I was like, I want to see if I can get rid of your chickenpox. Like I think these are the things that we need to be showing everyone, not be scared of these illnesses that were not treated and killed millions because it was a bioweapon 200 years ago and today.
Yeah. And not to mention, because this is another thing that in the US is apparently different than from Europe. If you look at a box of Kellogg's, whatever Kellogg's, right?
Yeah.
The ingredients is triple as much as what we've got here. That's because most of these ingredients are actually not allowed here. And so, I mean, think about that. We've got this much ingredients, you've got this much ingredients in the same freaking product.
Yeah.
What are they putting in there, I wonder?
Preservatives. And I mean, It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. I had family that worked at the factories and they're like, if you knew what went into some Cheetos, like you would never ever eat Cheetos again. But
But
yeah,
even food
over
you may think that is healthy, actually. It goes
they have
so
sugar
far.
in frozen peas. I saw peas at the store the other day and they had sugar in them.
What? Well,
Added
here's
sugar.
another thing I discovered. When my cats both died, all their teeth were rotten. I had cats my whole life. Not ever did I have one cat that had their teeth rotten to the point that they had. I didn't even know it
Yeah.
until, because, it's very hard to open the mouth of a cat. And when I saw it, it was bleeding. And then I started looking in all the animal food. Every single one of them has sugar in it. And now they have dog dentists and cat dentists. I
Isn't that
mean,
convenient?
have you ever heard of that before? I haven't, but now I do. And why? Because now what people that actually brush the teeth of their cats and dogs, why? Because of all the sugars. That was never the case before,
Yeah.
and so the whole reason it is like this is because even the animal foods are are so manipulated. It's not even funny.
And one thing, and I've talked about this in other shows, the thing that people, okay, it's good almost that this happened. So normal people heard things like shedding and understanding that these injections have a shedding period. All of them do. It is
10 days.
scary. Huh?
10 days.
Oh goodness. I've heard 2 weeks. I've heard just during certain times of the year it will.
Oh,
I know. I don't know. It makes sense when you start thinking of it this way. If you look up, anyone were to look up, and I don't want to show people because my big thing is like teaching people how to research. So if you look up insect larvae in influenza V, then you'll see that they've used the influenza insect larva. They don't tell us what kind. They do say it's a worm of some sort, but they make it seem like it's a big fat caterpillar worm, is put into that for a carrier. So if you have insect larva eggs, they're going to hatch, and then that's how they spread. We become a pore, and a lot of fungi is parasitic. So how fungi works is like spores come out of you and they try and send their babies to land somewhere, and hopefully it'll infect there and live off a host there. So our animals do that.
yeah.
When they have series of shots. So you have to realize putting sugar into food that of animals that have these shots is feeding the corporate, and now you have a little bomb that's walking around your house spewing
Exactly.
its stuff everywhere. So that's why I love chlorine dioxide, because part A is I dilute it, like very heavily dilute part A, which is sodium chloride, with just water. And I put a couple of drops of that into my cat's food, and they show the same passing signs that humans do. And we have to clean their litter. So it works. It detox the
So
family animal.
what other alternatives for those that can't get this?
uh, I'm kind of jealous of animal medicine because they have a lot more readily available dewormers. So like for dogs, you can get I never say it right, fabedenzol. It's one of the dog wormers, and just give them this. They have them for dogs and cat strains. So it's actually kind of easy just to go on Amazon and just get a dog dewormer for the month. And you can kind of stay on the safe side. Heart guard, any kind of deworming safe agents. Then again, they do sell like really bad antiparasitics at the store, like to get rid of fleas. Never buy any of that stuff. The die-off process is so much that it's probably going to kill your cat too. So
yeah, I know. So what will you use? Because
let me
my neighbor's cat had a little bit of fleas, and I said, what are you using? And she's using drops, and I said, but she said it doesn't work anymore. So I use that color. And I don't know, I've always been against this stuff. And I had a holistic veterinary, so he would use herbs for everything. And I am curious to know if you do know something that as an alternative you can use against fleas.
Wow, moment. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you a couple links here, Patricia.
Okay. That's so
This
true.
is what my good friend Cassandra, who's in the chat, told me about. If you are in the States and if you can get that, it is an alkaline booster, which is basically just part A of my treatment, but it's already prepackaged. And then as far as the dog dewormer, febendazole, this one's really cool because the dog version takes care of the animals just fine. But there's a human version, which apparently people with the big C are simply on this one ingredient and it takes care of them as well. So I'm sending the dog version.
That's good to know for people, because really, I do believe that indeed it's again the oxygen, right? Oxygen kills them all. It's so true.
It's so funny that they want to get rid of our carbon. We're made of carbon, first of all.
Yeah.
They want to get rid of our carbon content and our oxygen. And those are the only two things that we need to live.
Exactly.
And sunlight. And apparently
they are. That all fits in the chat. I think it does.
Really?
There it is for the dogs, for those that have dogs.
Yes.
Let me see. Dr. Joseph Mercola sells essential oils for pets for fleas and tick. And that's what I've used for years. Oh, that's good. Thank you.
I was going to say, I have friends that use frankincense and peppermint on their dogs, and that keeps stuff away, but I didn't know exactly which ones they were.
But like orally or just on their skin?
On their skin. On the back of their necks is what he did.
Oh, that's good to know.
Essential oils for fleas. Peppermint, eucalyptus, tea tree, citronella, and rosemary are cruelty-free and vegan flea remedies.
That's good to know. That's good to know. And what did I see? Yeah, that's another one. Animals and cancer. There you go. Same thing. Literally everything we can apply to animals as well. What's happening to humans, and they literally are poisoning everybody, and then try to find a solution with even more poison. So I agree with you that I learned literally everything is parasites, literally
everything.
And here's the shocker, and I found this on YouTube one day. Somebody opened the bag of Lipton tea, and what was in there? Larves.
I didn't want to say it earlier. You said, what are all those ingredients? I was like, do you know how quickly bug larvae starts appearing in our oats and stuff? They're putting it in our food.
I saw them freaking crawling in the tea. Well, does anybody ever open the tea bag? No, you don't. Ever since I went only with organic tea from my organic shop that I trust, because literally, or loose herbs, no tea bags anymore for me. Literally, when I saw that shocked the crap out of me, because I was like, what? Wait, we've got larvae in our freaking foods.
Yeah. And you're eating it and they sprout in you and they grow in you. And also, okay, so when I first started this, and I think a lot of people do, one of the main reasons people choose to go vegan here is because of parasites. And that was I thought about it because I didn't see any other way to stop bringing them in your bodies. But I started looking up, basically, first of all, the pesticides used, even they're finding on organic produce, it's still there, and that's still going to be letting bugs in. And then also, so basically vegan food here isn't super safe. And also, thank goodness for chlorine dioxide, you can blanch your meat in it for like 20-30 seconds and it turns a different color. There'll be little stuff that rises to the top of the water, and you get rid of that.
And you still want to eat it. The reason I don't eat meat is because first they give these animals antibiotics
Oh, yes.
standard.
Yes.
And it's the abuse, because I do believe that same energy, you eat it and it gets into you. If
Mhm.
an animal, and I've been, when I was 11, I was in a slaughterhouse and I seen a cow being stunned electrically. He didn't die immediately. The worst was the other cows were actually waiting for their turn, while this one was cut to the last piece, which took 2 hours, by the way, while the
Mhm.
other ones were actually looking.
Watching.
And that shocked the crap out of me, because, they have a conscience,
Mhm.
you know, and so that is, you're indeed, Mel, you're ingesting trauma, and you're
Mhm.
ingesting the antibiotic, and that is actually what got me off meat,
Mhm.
because
Very parasitic eating the meat in itself. I mean, I genuinely believe humans in our natural state, because there's a guy in India that does it where he sun gazes and
yeah,
he makes sure he has his what is it called, potassium, his nutrients, but he sucks a sweet substance from the roof of his mouth when he sun gazes.
yeah,
So this shows, and there's also a theory out there that we do have a plant type photosynthesis cell within our mitochondria, and this would lean towards we should be able to make our own energy without being able,
yes,
without killing even plants or animals, because I can feel the trauma in our plants too. These GMO,
yes,
there's, you can taste the GMOs in like our produce. I don't care if it
yeah,
says
it tastes
organic or
like
not.
water, everything tastes like
And it
water.
doesn't even taste good. Yeah.
If I can't smell the vegetable, I won't eat it, because you might as well, and also because I have, like, obviously, again, in America it's so much more difficult. You guys have to travel. I just go around the corner and do my groceries daily, on a daily basis. So, and usually most of it where I buy it is locally farmed. Doesn't mean that it has no pesticide, but at least if I can actually smell a tomato, then I know it's good, right?
Mhm.
But it's so true. But at a certain point, we don't have to get too paranoid, because then
Yeah.
what's left to eat, right? I do
Yeah.
believe a lot of good intentions putting it in it when you prepare your food is
Mhm.
is 50% of your healing in that.
It
And the
is.
sun gazing, I would have done it if we had sun here, hence why I need to move to Bali. So I can do sun gazing. But yeah, definitely they try to bash the whole sun gazing breatharian thing so badly here, because people started doing it, but I don't believe it's for everyone yet. But
No,
I
we're not
guess
there yet.
no, we're
Yeah.
not there yet. But I do believe that it can't hurt to start trying to at least take in that sun,
It
when it, well, it's in the morning, right? The first 15 minutes of
the
sun
first
coming up.
30 minutes of last 30 minutes of the day, if you
Yeah,
can just sit out there, even if you can't hold your eyes open, just like sitting there with the eyelids closed, gathering in as much as you can, opening for
yeah,
like 5 seconds at a time. It is amazing. The amount of die-off I had after some of the sun gazing moments were quite
yeah,
telling. They do work.
yeah.
They definitely do work.
Well, we
So
hardly have any summer, so there's no sun gazing here. Not to mention, I can't even find the sun if it's here. But because it's very dense populated. But yeah, I definitely, for whoever has the chance to do it, start experimenting with it. Don't go overboard if you're not
yes, I'm
used
not
to it.
telling you to start fasting, though fasting is wonderful for detoxing. It's hard. It's super hard. I've done a couple of fasts during this.
Exactly. So then, how would you approach people that want to get rid of the medication?
I personally would say look up Jim Humble's Protocol 1000 on educateyourself.com. And he explains how to do a 3-month protocol, which consists of about 3 weeks during that 3 months. So it is intensive and very short lived. So after Protocol 1000, if you live in the States, what I tell everyone to do is go get a full blood work panel done. When you're done with Protocol 1000, after those 3 months, you can even go and ask for a new doctor for a new set of eyes if that makes you feel good, or ask your doctor, hey doc, if you saw these blood work, what would you tell someone to be on daily? And you'll be surprised to see if you're put back on that high blood pressure medication. You'll be surprised to see if the doctor even realizes you have diabetes, because look up diabetes caused by a parasite. And I don't believe in hereditary. Hereditary is a word that people try to go, oh, there's nothing I can do. No, your dad had it. He gave it to your mom. Your mom had you. It was a parasite that traveled through 3 people. So now you have it, and you can get rid of it. And you ultimately have the power in your doctor's appointment, in your doctor's office. And Rick, my husband, was like, I want to be there for people to go into a doctor's appointment and be a customer or a patient advocate, because these people get bullied by the doctor thinking they have to be on this, that, and the other for life. And the truth is, all you have to say is, I want a blood work panel done. What would you say for these blood results? And after doing a cleanse, you're going to notice that all your levels might have done a huge turn, that you won't have to be on medicine.
Yeah, because I personally didn't go to any doctor even to test blood or whatever, because I just listened to my body. Do I feel better? Yes, then it's fine, right? Because you know, I don't care about the whole blood works. And you know, at this point where I'm at with when it comes to doctors, it's like they can tell me anything they want. I won't believe them anyway. But that's because I've been like really so unfortunate when it comes to doctors, which is my luck also, because that brought me to go completely holistic. But yeah, it also took me so much longer to heal, you know, because I found out I couldn't actually trust them with anything. And so that's kind of why I wouldn't personally go back for other blood work. But when people do that protocol, should they actually quit their medication like instantly? Because that seems dangerous.
No, he has them taking whatever. The only medicine that not to be taken with chlorine dioxide is, weirdly enough, vitamin C. Take that on the days that you don't take chlorine dioxide, or at least like 6 hours after your last chlorine dioxide dose. That's the only thing that like super inactivates it. And everything else, Jim Humble's like, you can take our statins, you can take whatever. People just realize around their 3rd month, people are telling me like, I checked my blood and I haven't needed to do it, and they have diabetes and they don't need to take their diabetic medicine because their levels are okay. So that's the self realization that you have to become your own doctor. You have to keep your own stats. You have to stay on top of what's making you feel good. Can you do that 3rd, 4th day without antidepressants? We all have to start having our own practice, because that's how you learn how the body works, is just doing your own practice.
Yeah, I did my 8 attempts, obviously, of antidepressants, of which the last attempt I did completely by myself based on what I learned. And it was the only time I had no withdrawals till the last quarter. I only had very much withdrawal symptoms in the past weeks. And they weren't that bad as I had them in previous attempts, because there I was downright about killing myself to that point. So when it comes to antidepressants, they're quite dangerous. And I would suggest to absolutely listen to your body. You know, because they do mess with your brain. And a detox in there is absolutely a must. And this is how I started it. I did the detox, and I have to thank actually Kate Awakening for the tip. When I had these bad withdrawals in the past weeks, she said I used CBD oil. And so I bought it, and what do you know, that took the edge off, and that's what got me here now. So you know, that was the last bit. And next to that, I took 5-HTP, which actually is a supplement that mimics an antidepressant. It's incredible. The doctor doesn't give you that. Instead, they give you, they give you antidepressants. So the 5-HTP does the exact same as an antidepressant, only it is, I do believe it's an amino acid. I'm not completely sure about it, but it does the exact same thing.
Wow.
without all the withdrawals and all these symptoms that you get with it, brain zaps and all that stuff. So 5-HTP definitely, and magnesium and the omega-3 and 6 and 9 is a
Good.
must to take every day, especially the magnesium citrate, citrate, you call
Citrate.
it? Yeah,
That's
that's
what I said.
what I took, and that actually influences your mood a lot. You start to feel much better. um
Good.
yeah, even if you have muscle pains, when I do sports and I have incredible muscle pains, I take nano magnesium
Mhm.
and in mineral water, and instantly takes away muscle pain. So
Yes.
magnesium is a really, really good one. Besides, it is oxygen, you know.
It's an oxidized. Yep. It's
So
so cool. I love how it works.
yeah, I swear by it every day as a supplement anyway. Omega oil and the magnesium, I take that anytime anyway. But especially with tapering off the antidepressant, I had to take a bit extra, and then together with the 5-HTP and the CBD oil, oh my god, I'm blown away how quick I did this last dose
I'm
of
so proud of you.
getting off it, and I still can't believe I'm finally medication free.
That's huge. 23 years.
24 years, yeah, and and it has all kinds of antidepressants, keeps you from remembering your dreams, but also getting in touch with your intuition, because I noticed my intuition went up when I tapered down most of it, and my intuition at the same time started actually coming back, and or actually it started. So it's amazing how everything is connected in that way.
That is so funny. No, when it's funny that you say that because Jeff and I did a video on the different type of die-off reactions that you don't think are going to happen. And one of the die-off symptoms, and you're always tested whenever anyone I've talked to who starts a protocol or some kind of detox, they're always tested like the day after. And it's for you to see if you'll remake a mistake or if you'll like notice that you're have the opportunity to relive a cycle that like maybe wasn't good for you and maybe parasitic in itself of giving your energy to someone, and like you'll say no and that person will act like a parasite, and even if it's not their nature, even if it's like something about you will make them test you and they'll act out like a parasite. So you'll see little friendships like fall off and just give it love and light. I'm sure they're going through their awakening too. So like we're all doing this together. So it's always good to have and be at a place where we're holding space for everyone. But like sometimes that means going over here and having space and love from
Yes.
afar. But you're going to start noticing that. And also the way that you were talking about reliving just day-to-day instances, and you're like, I was able to, I think that means have confidence in yourself, in your knowledge, and try these things these 3 or 4 things that you heard will work, and you had faith that they would, and now look at you, like you're going
Yes.
longer without going back on the antidepressants. So
And
it's just
it's true,
wonderful.
because we talked about that, how it also influences people's mood, because the whole brain chemistry changes when you do a detox, and that should not be underestimated. Actually, anybody that does a serious detox will be freaking surprised how your mood changes for the better.
Mhm.
And the monkey brain chatter, another one, that stops, because you can have parasitical attachments, which are etherical, but also the bodily parasites do the same thing. It's amazing how everything is related to freaking parasites.
Mhm.
It's
And
mind blowing.
there's so much metal in our bodies, and that's why there's such a close connection that you're like, there's these demonic parasites that are spiritual, and then we have physical. They have to be talking because they packed us so full of the right ingredients to make a conductor or a radio within us, and face like, oh, look up schizophrenia caused by parasites. when you hear
Yes.
stuff in your head, that's literally the bugs. And no, you're not crazy. You're hearing messages from these bugs. How are those bugs getting messages? Then you have to start asking yourself that. So I very much do believe that the spiritual and the physical, they're either connecting or they're in
Actually,
cahoots.
I found a correlation between the vagus nerve and parasites. Now, think about this. The vagus nerve is our biggest nerve. It starts here, right? And it looks like it has all these tentacles, and all the tentacles go to every organ in your body, but also into the intestine. Now, if you have mucoid plaque and uh, it blocks the vagus nerve from, because the vagus nerve is what transports your brain hormones as well. And so if there is no chance for the vagus nerve to actually uh, pick up these hormones because you have mucoid plaque, imagine all the other disturbances, because remember that same vagus nerve is going everywhere. It's like literally, this is our electric, um, I think Elena Dana was calling it, because we are walking Tesla coils. And so, our spine is the coil. No, our spine is the rod, and then the coil is our energy field. So, and the vagus nerve is you can actually, there are videos about the vagus nerve breathing exercises, and it's amazing because it's also directly related to the heart. So and I read a whole study about it, and I was always going to make a video about it, but I needed to look more into it. But when I was actually studying that, it's amazing. It's amazing what you learn, how everything is connected in the body, and what just simple parasites and mucoid plaque in your gut, I mean, does to your whole body, because it
Yeah.
transports the toxins as well.
People always talk about like we think from our brain, and then you'll have the yogi that goes, no, we think from the heart. And I'm like, unless your colon is clean, you're thinking from your shitter. Like, that's it.
Exactly.
There's no way else to say it. So maybe if we clean our colons, then we'll be able to. And you said it earlier, you were getting super downloads, like intuitive, when you started cleaning your plaque and the colon out, because now you can think, and now you can use your heart and get your own intuition. You're not using bug brains to make your decisions for you, basically.
Exactly. And it's so important, and you only realize it when you've done a good detox, and you notice how your mood is. You notice how depression just, I literally had 80% of my anxiety gone. I flabbergasted. I cried like crazy when I did my professional colon cleanse. Like the whole freaking world came out of me. And that's when I knew, that's when I realized it. I talked about it last week, and it's quite mind-blowing. So I am not surprised whatsoever that every single disease derives from parasites. Not at all. And and they keep just pushing us with all kinds of medication, and if people go look for it, colon cleanses and all that, you will get a loads of negative articles about it, because they don't want
They don't
us.
want it. They don't want us to be kicking them out.
Exactly.
You would be surprised how many politicians have names, parasites named after politicians. That's something weird that I kept coming across.
What?
Yeah, Barack Obama has his own parasite name. It's a new literally, I'm not even being like facetious. Like, why? That's weird.
Well, it wouldn't
Just
surprise me, because I would give them a politician's
True.
name.
Was it done after a joke? But it seems like it's like prestigious. I don't know if he gave money to the
You know what?
research.
That sounds pretty much like mocking.
Yes.
Does it?
Parasite won Best Oscar Trump's first year. So like, it's funny to look up Trump mocks Parasite, because he made a joke about it. Like, what the hell is up with that video? And it's funny because it's like he was making fun of Parasite, but it was because it was a Korean film that won an American Oscar. So that's why he said he didn't like it. But
oh yeah, I remember.
it's funny still.
Wow, that's
I
amazing.
know.
So is there anything, hey Tyler, good to see you. And Dennis, good to see you too. So many people came in the meantime. So is there anything that you can help people with that have animals and certain,
Yes.
things to help them with? Because, it's always good to treat our animals just like we treat ourselves, I do believe.
An oxidizer treatment, I would highly suggest if you're in the States or able to buy one. There are animal protocols by Jim Humble for chlorine dioxide. My friend's dog, she has raised since for 2 years, and his teeth are immaculate because she puts this in his water and he can't drink any other water but this chlorine dioxide water. And she just sends pictures of his teeth and it's like the most beautiful. There's no plaque. Like
What?
his teeth is cleaner than like any humans. Like it's beautiful. My
God, I
cats.
wish I knew this before. Not to mention I couldn't get it, but for my cats, I would do anything. When I saw when they opened her mouth the day she died, I could not believe what I saw. She didn't show me at all. She ate normally. Everything was infected and bleeding. I was shocked. And obviously it was liver disease, but I do believe it's all, the
It
same
all
crap
ties
that
in.
they.
It all ties in because right here is also like meridians for your gut, I believe. Because when I was detoxing one time, I was having weird gum issues and like it felt like there was an infection under my gum line. And for some people, when they start detox, they're where the detox tends to just like pile up is in, for some reason, our meridian in our mouth, which is all of our gums. So then you'll have infection under your gums. So I like to make chlorine dioxide or hydrogen peroxide and swish that around whenever I'm detoxing now, because I know that I'm prone to
I had the
get,
same this
yeah.
week. I didn't even know I had everything infected. I'm like, what's going on? And it only hits me
Okay.
now. What I do is oil pulling, though.
Good, good. Some kind of, because there is antibacterial in like coconut
Yeah,
oils, so that'll still help. You
yeah.
just
For
need to pull
those,
out the detox, the dioxin.
yeah, yeah. So for those that don't know, oil pulling is that you take an oil. I take coconut personally because it also whitens your teeth.
Mhm.
On top of it, but you can take sesame oil. It's a very good one. The linseed oil is a good one. What you do, you put it in your mouth in first thing in the morning when you wake up, and you swish it. I did 20 minutes while you take a shower, whatever, you just swish it. What happens is all the toxins are pulled out of your body into the oil. So spit it out. Don't ever swallow it afterwards.
Mhm.
Spit it out, rinse it, and then brush your teeth. And literally it cleans up your body. Olive oil you can use, indeed, Melissa. And there are many oils. I actually did a video on that, and I've got all the links about the whole oil pulling in there as well. So you have to check in my playlist, detox and cleanses, stuff like that. Actually, I have to put these videos in there as well so people can find it
Yeah.
easily, as well as beauty. Actually, by the way, now we're at it.
Mhm. Yes.
Our skin is our biggest organ. So that's the one I trade the best. It's, when I realized, oh my God, everything goes through our skin. I started using only plant-based products. I don't
Mhm.
care about, and they're actually cheap compared to, all the expensive stuff. It's cheap. It takes and I take one cream for everything. I don't have the eye cream and this cream and that cream. No, I just
Mhm.
have one, and it's just a plant-based oil. And at this moment I used Veleda. I don't know if you know that. It's a German brand, but we have it here. It's completely plant-based. And same for cleansing, but also my hair. I do not use any chemicals, shampoo from any supermarket, whatever. I use, actually these days you've got these bars, these shampoo bars.
I love those.
Yeah, yeah. It takes you a long time to use. They go a
They
long
last a
time.
long time.
They last long. That's it.
Mhm.
But you can also use a plant-based shampoo, don't be discouraged because it doesn't foam, because it's the whole foamy thing that is usually the chemical. It's a bit drier, it doesn't foam all over, so it feels different. But I can tell you this, we talked about it last week, it will reverse your gray hairs. It
Yes.
will make your hair thicker again.
Mhm.
Even women are starting to get bald because of all those
Mhm.
chemicals in shampoos. And remember, well, I'm obviously of an age where I remember we had 2 deodorants that we could choose from, and now you've got a whole wall full of them. And why is that? I don't use any deodorant whatsoever now for at least 2 years, 3 years,
Mhm.
and I never stink, literally. Why? In the beginning I did when I
Yes.
quit, because our,
You're pushing it out.
yeah, because your skin has a natural cleansing feature, and
Mhm.
that is being cut out when you use all these chemicals. So your pH of the skin is getting out of balance, which then causes you to go to stink, which you make you think, oh, I need more deodorant, and the more you use, the more out of balance
Exactly.
it gets. So when you're going to stop with deodorant, I would actually recommend to get a natural one. I had one of those crystal stones that I used,
Yes.
and now I don't use them at all anymore. And it's the best thing ever, and it saves you so much money once you go completely natural, because
So much better.
it's amazing what your body can do all by itself. And
Exactly.
regrow your hair back. I mean, we were just talking and
Mhm.
lamenting about how
Yes.
thick and heavy our hair is. But
Mhm.
the whole reason it is because we just treat it well and naturally. And yeah, it's a bit of a luxury to start lamenting about how heavy and thick our hair is. But at the same time, now we found new cutting ways to actually make you feel easier about it. But for those that never had like thick hair like we do, nonetheless, you will get your healthy hair back if you stop with the
I want to
chemical.
also say I can't see any, but like when you're done, so some people write me and they're like, hey, when I started detoxing, I'm getting rid of a lot of hair. Why is this happening? And it's, you have so much in you, not just your shampoo that you use, but also just the junk inside of you is being pushed out. So if you're detoxing, you'll notice tiny little like bumps on your head and it feels like acne or something. And that's your hair follicles pushing out bug bodies and heavy metals and all this crazy stuff. And yes, you might lose a couple strands of hair because that hair follicle needs to push out other stuff. But I have like 3-inch little hairs every here and there because I'm growing new hair
Yeah,
that's
I
going to make it
too.
even stronger. So you'll see baby hairs all over. And that's just proof that you're detoxing. You got rid of a strand and
Yeah.
you're just pushing a bunch out.
Yeah, so don't get discouraged when you do
Yeah.
lose some more hair than usual. When you do detox,
Yeah.
the reward is all the better uh,
Yes.
afterwards, because literally you can age reverse anything
Mhm.
when it comes to detox. And I'm the proof of that. If I did a video on my transformational journey, if you look at my face when I was 40, I look a lot older than I do now. And well, the reason being is natural products, it's literally, it's that simple,
I
and yes,
use
I
two
do.
products. That's it. I
Yeah,
just
me too.
use like my body wash is my hair is my shampoo and it's a vegan plant-based product. I don't use conditioner and I use
Me.
oil, bio oil for everything. And it smells like frankincense. So I know it has like frankincense in it, but
Yeah.
that's all I
Yeah, I
use.
actually used it later. I saw that Mel uses it. So they do have it in Australia.
But
And I actually mix it with vitamin E oil. And then because it makes it a bit more, because very dry skin lately and all that. And that's also to do with not drinking enough water, which is always a challenge for everybody,
I
apparently.
know.
But I'm going to start next week. Um, actually, mid-week of this week, I'm going to start my green juicing, which I always do after getting rid of the parasites. Most of the parasites, I start a green juice for 3 days, and that is a vitamin bomb, which will restore everything in no time.
You're gonna feel
And
so good.
yeah, and it makes your skin radiant again, because even now my skin is a bit crap.
Beautiful. I don't know what you're talking about,
Yeah, well, that's because,
but you can feel it.
camera does wonders in light, but but I'm not worried at all in that
Yeah.
sense. I'm 52, so um, the proof is in the pudding, is all I can say. And the same for you, actually,
I'm
because you look
31.
radiant this
Thank you.
week. And so you can see your detox is doing well as well.
Yeah, I looked at my wedding pictures, which were 5 6 years ago now, 5 years ago. And we looked, both my husband and I looked like 5 or 10 years older then than we do now. Both of us. He had
Amazing.
dark under eyes. His hair was receding like back here. Now he has all his hair back, but like better than ever. He's lost weight. We look totally different. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like we get paid for this, but it's not true. Guys, it's all about our health. If we don't actually take care of our own health and get our own, stand up to our own powers, and which is knowledge, right? Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
Everything is possible. And I even use microcurrent, although I haven't used it for a while now, so everything starts sagging again. But even that, right, is like doing sports. You do it for your face too, and make sure you clean your face when get rid of all the stuff, especially when you've been outside a lot. It's important, but mostly important is that we stop using all those cheap chemical crap, is what I would
COVID
say.
allowed for us, for my husband, because I had already been doing it for a while, but that allowed for my husband to detox from the antiperspirant, and you do smell really bad for like a month. And
Yeah.
it's not human smell either. It's nasty old metals that are reeking inside of you. So you will push stuff out. I don't know if I brought this up on this channel or not. I have like 5 girls I'm working with who all recently had their implants taken out. And the stuff that comes out after a detox with implants, like I've helped so many people, like with the big C's, with diabetes, like all the things. And there's certain die-off symptoms that each disease has, basically. And the weirdest one I've seen is when women get the implants out, they will literally secrete black liquid from their
Wow.
armpits. And just
Whoa.
imagine, like, this is what, of course, people have so much breast cancer right now. Like, of course, it's ridiculous.
Well, and you have a foreign thing in your body,
Yeah,
right?
Matt. Yeah.
Well, I always had the luxury to have too much, so I actually had a reduction, but which was a heavy operation, which had a lot of infection as a result, which thank God, that's how I actually discovered the whole detox. But it's true, all the stuff being shoved in our faces and in our bodies, if we choose to do so. But
Yeah.
I actually recently found out, I didn't even know that Botox contains human, what is it? Human stem cells.
Stem cell?
I think it's stem cells in it. I mean, I was thinking about that for a bit, and I was like,
Yes.
ooh, I don't know if that's a good thing.
Here in the States, everyone swears on this other procedure, and it's the vegan Botox, basically. I'll have to get that name over to you.
There's a
All my
vegan
friends here in
Botox.
all my friends in Scottsdale get it. They're like, it's the safe Botox. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what it is though. So I'll get the name. If someone in the comments knows what the safe Botox is, we have it here. And they're saying it's working. It doesn't last as long, but they say it does work. So I don't know.
Well,
I don't
if
know.
but it does take some work. If you take the microcurrent, I covered that in another video as well, where I did everything about beauty, and I
Oh.
showed all my beauty stuff that I do use.
Mhm.
It's in there, and but also for men, by the way, because remember, okay, men don't use makeup and all that, but their hair. I mean, I saw one guy, he had 8 brothers. He was the only one never even washing his hair with product, only with water. He was the only one of his brothers that still had his hair. What does that tell you? Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting. He was the constant. Like, that
Yeah.
was very interesting.
Right. I
Oh,
mean, literally, but if you think about it, it's kind of logic, right?
it
If you
is. It is. Our bodies are made to clean themselves. Our bodies are made to do everything themselves. So don't come in with something foreign and expect it to do
exactly,
something for our body. It's so funny. Oh, the
exactly.
world we live in. That's all I have to say.
Right. And so is there anything else that you have to cover when it comes to anything, the body, beauty, animals, whatever?
Thymus massaging.
Ooh,
That's what goes hand in hand and heavy and detoxing. No matter what you use, there are hard days. And one thing I call Master Jeff, because I have my own like person, I'm like, help me, like fix me, and he can do instant healing, like literally. And he's
right.
like, girl, you can do this on your own if you just remember the thymus massaging. Because what happens is all this stuff that we are detoxing, yes, it comes out of our skin, it comes out of our intestines, it comes out of our nose, as you noticed, but a lot of it is also released in our like thymus gland, and it's all just sitting here. So like one day I looked like a freaking frog. I had this huge buildup right here. I'm like, what is happening? And it looked like a huge double chin. And he's like, just do your massages, even go down to the pelvic area, women. If you have a partner, grab them and massage the pelvic bone area. And there's a cavity there that holds the same kind of juice. And if you work your way up from the pelvic bone, and you can just look up on your phone, like, where's the thymus glands at? You'll see
No, do
different
you
little parts
mean
of the body.
also the what's it called again? The fluid that we have in these glands. Um, oh God, slipped my mind. Um, what's it called?
Thyroid? Wait,
What?
not thyroid. What?
No, the
Thymus
what's
gland
it
fluid.
called? It's in all our glands. The fluid, very important one. Um, because even in our faces and anywhere,
Mm.
it builds up toxins. You can actually, by massaging, you can get it out. You can actually go for a good massage, or you can do it yourself. But
Yes.
I mean, the actually, it's the same that you actually mentioned
T
here.
cells,
No, I did
lymphatic system.
lymphatic, the lymph.
Okay, so
Okay,
the lymph nodes.
yeah,
Yes.
the lymph fluid is very important, because that's also that can clog up, and if it clogs up, it doesn't release the toxins properly. So what you want to
Yes.
do is stimulate it. So,
Mhm.
and in qigong, actually I learned it from Eric Grains, where you can actually just slap your whole freaking body everywhere, and all everywhere the glands are, from top to bottom, and do that as well when you do detox, because it will
Yes.
release the toxins better, and also it prevents you from clogging the lymphatic system, because
And that happens. Yes.
yeah, that happens, especially when you do a first one.
Mhm.
So I also have this thing that you can use for your face, which
Face.
it vibrates a bit, and um it has like crystals on the sides, and I use that actually on all the lymph nodes, like here, and
Good.
in your armpit, and
Mhm.
in your legs, and just massages are very important for releasing toxins as well.
Yes, very
you know
important.
and
Because like
and
it's enough to make you want to stop doing the detox. That's how clogged up they get for some newbies, is what I've noticed. So knowing this massage system and just doing it every other day, at least on protocol days, you'll see the night and day difference.
Actually, if you guys look at my video that I did with Rook Castle, she is she does acupuncture, and she also uses the guasha stones, which is this Chinese thing. So it not only lifts your face and beautifies, no, it also drains the lymphatic system. It cleans it up, all the toxins out of your face as well, which then makes your skin radiant again. So, there's always a win-win to everything of this. I mean, there's never a lose here.
We keep going back to it. Every single symptom we think of old people having, oh, it's just my old age. No, it's parasitic or heavy metal mineral buildup. Basically, your bones hurt. Okay, well, let's get you on a decalcifier and start, or a stone breaker like Chakrapedra, and let's start reversing that. Oh, your eyesight isn't good. Okay, we'll start doing an anti-parasitic, and you'll see the eye problems that go along. So it's a give and take, and it's like when you realize it, what is aging? What is aging? Because what we think of it is all parasitic.
I think we were always supposed to get much older than that we now are. And there's a reason, right? If we look back in history, ancient history, people were much older, and now they're saying, oh, look, people get much younger or older these days because of the medicine. Now, that's a lie. Actually, my mom, who's 76, she was last year, obviously 75. We did a detox with her, first time ever that she did it. And she had high blood pressure. We measured her blood pressure every day that we did the detox, and you saw it literally decline. So, it's and all her pains went gone. Her knee was hurting at the time, gone too. So literally, and she was 75 at the time. Now she's 76, and now she's hooked. She does it too.
Yep. Doctors tell older patients like, oh, detoxing for the young people. Nope. I've seen, because the young people nowadays, they don't realize this, they're just as heavy metal because of a lot of these immunization records that our children have to have. They're just as heavy metal filled and parasite filled as these old geriatric patients. So like detox can happen at all age ranges in very small portions, and it's doable for everyone. And there's a price budget for everyone too.
Exactly. And I've been talking, and Nicole's been talking about the telomeres, which is part of our DNA, which is the cap of our DNA. Actually, Craig Braden talks about it as well. Actually, that's where I learned it. And I started doing meditations on the telomeres, because the telomeres is the top of your DNA. Particle, and it's like the shoelace cap, and it starts to degrade when we get older, and that's when your whole body starts to degrade. So you can actually build it back by doing meditation on it, and and also you can literally think yourself young, because it's true. And with that we go into a whole different topic, but it's true, everything is related. Anything that you can do, we don't have to be desperate, we don't have to be sick. I now realize age, everything, all that it's not necessary if you take the proper precautions that we now have available to us through information.
Yes. And I know you're trying to finish up. There was something I just wanted to mention when you were talking about people don't live as old as they could live or whatever. And my very first interview I ever did is now taken down with the YouTube apocalypse. But it was basically about the story of the Chinese story of the baby white rabbit going to the moon and dealing with God's immortality. And elixirs that helped these gods gain immortality on Earth. And basically it's all this story about immortality and fertility and the moon and a white rabbit. So on that roller coaster I was on, I looked up parasites cause infertility. And I found out that there are parasites that both cause infertility and cause fertility. So if you're in a certain demographic that thinks it's okay, that has Planned Parenthoods on all street corners, that place could be given a parasite that makes them fertile. And this is where you start thinking of baby cows being raised for slaughter and being farmed. And then you could see other demographics of people, the full family unit people, who those people were given bugs that can make them infertile. So that's one very real way that people could be doing this. Also, the moon's effect on the woman body and making us drop eggs. If, in theory, if you look at all these ancient Sanskrits and ancient writings, women would go through their cycle, and it would be a huge thing. In the Bible, they said, sit down on this one thing of wood, get rid of that little stool once you're done. And you're like, this isn't happening every 28 days. Some women had tents that the tents would be put up, and all the men in the village would take care of the village while the women all went to this tent for that time. And you're like, this isn't happening every 28 days, ladies. This was probably once every 6 months or once a year ritual. So then you have to realize, okay, is our time frame between our periods being shortened? Because if you're doing that, and if you're making people drop eggs every 28 days, every month, instead of once a year, there's more chances in babies being born that are wanted or unwanted. And also that would, in theory, make the lifespan of the species much shorter. So that's where you see ages in Sanskrit in the Bible having 600, 800-year-old people. That's very relatively the same price or age. And like people in all of the world were like 600 years old. So I did the math, and basically if you were to make a woman drop an egg 12 times a year instead of once a year, that, as far as eggs go, would make someone be 75 years old instead of 600 years old.
Oh, wow. That's so amazing.
So that's my theory, is they're speeding us up that way.
Wanderlust Kate is asking if she can borrow your brain for a week.
Take it. I'll go to bed. Have fun.
Well, or you can just learn about it, right? Because,
yes,
for me, I only learn more with her, but I already learned a lot by myself, but actually, which started accidentally, but I learn only more with her. But, we can only, she's serious, but we can, this is why it's so important also to do our own research, because the more you realize about it, the more you learn about it, the more you also get motivated to actually do it. And for me, it started obviously by doing it first and then get into the research, but, there's so much logic behind it if you think about it, like properly, know.
But they don't want you to think about it. They make it gross. They make it scary. They do everything they can. So this is the one test every human has to go through. Take your health in your hands, because the doctor is not you. You have control of your body. And there's a bunch of ways that we can all come together as a community and just share any information that you can get on the subject.
Absolutely. And also I would say, don't do the thing, but the doctor said. Try and actually think for yourself, like, wait, but is he right? Question it. Question everything, literally. The same with with your food. Question everything. And in the beginning for me it was a bit of a drag to find out ingredients. What are they? Literally, if I cannot pronounce the ingredient, I'm not going to take it. It's that simple. And also I saw this on a billboard in Bali. If you can't eat it, don't put it on your body, and vice versa, and there is a lot to that, because and let's face it, everything was in nature before the whole medical industry came along. Everything was in nature. There were holistic universities. They all closed down in the beginning of the century, when the fellers came about and the banking system, so think about it. And we get to be told all these tales about when in other times when we didn't have all this whole medical industry, people died younger and this and that. Is it really true though? Think about it. Is it really true? Did
Villages
people
have elders, like that's a known thing. They have elders. So obviously, because here we know a lot about our states, like Native American history. So yeah, you had old people, they very, very old people. Some tribes had like over 100 years old, and it wasn't weird to have like great great grandma. So that's not true. And also, it's just one of the many things you can do and look up is okay, is if SPF was supposed to save us, then why is it that the skin cancer cases started rising after SPF started being used and those tanning oils of the 80s? Like, that's what caused everyone's skin cancer today, not the sun. It's all the stuff in that.
actually, yeah, I use plain coconut oil and I'm a redhead. I don't tan, but I don't burn either, but I just use coconut oil literally. And there was this girl on YouTube who only made YouTubes about sunscreens and stuff like that. And she was so fanatic with it and promoting it. And then it turned out she had actually skin cancer.
Oh,
So, is I don't wish that to her, but there's no coincidence there.
that's so
I
sad.
refuse anything. We have to think now with everything that we do. Sunscreens are toxic. Yeah, they do cause the skin cancers, you know,
Yeah.
and it might be flagged this video, but literally I don't care because I still have it and I will download it and I will put it up somewhere else. But I think this is the message that are most um, important right now, especially, you know, we can
Yes.
reverse anything, our pains, our diseases, our age. Um, we just need to start. That's kind of it.
F around and find out. That is the scientific method. And that's what I've been doing for the past 2 years is just, what does this do? What does that do? Sometimes I've had bad reactions and I had to pay for it. And I learned never to do that again. And then I tried something else and I had a great reaction. Uh,
Exactly.
the one thing I do want to close out with saying is like, if you can, I know when you get a really scary diagnosis of something, you want to try everything. Try to do one thing like a week or in a 10-day cycle, because a lot of people that I work with, they're so excited and they want to go gung ho and they want to try all 20 things I mentioned. Don't do that. Just try one new element and see how your body goes with that. The next week, try something else, see how your body reacts. I would even do like 2 weeks without anything else, just because you want to make sure how your body's, the positive stuff that you're receiving from this mineral or supplement, and then the negative side effects. So that way, when you're going on the road and you have a bad reaction, you know exactly what probably gave you a bad reaction.
Yeah, and another thing, by the way, which is a beauty department I'm using lately is LED lights, these red LED lights that have colors, this face mask with all the colors in it. Holy
Mm-hmm.
crap, that really does its job.
Red light therapy.
Yeah,
Yes.
red light therapy. Here we have lots of sauna, so I used to go there anyway already. But those things, anything, do your best and try to and keep your mind positive too. Don't immediately get paranoid. Oh, now I ate this and now it must be toxic, because you can go overboard with that
Yes.
paranoia as well. I've been there. You
Yes,
know,
I've been there.
and then at a certain point, you have to just let go. This happens, it's natural when you start to tend to go overboard. Don't do that. And also leave any comments for those that are going to watch later, or if I missed anything in the chat, leave your comments in the under the video, and I'm sure that Alexia or I get back to you
Yes.
about it. And otherwise on my Telegram as well, or you can find the links for Alexia as well underneath here in the description, on YouTube for those that are on D Live. And also please do subscribe to my D Live in case I get thrown off over here. I'm trying to find a platform where I can put all my videos, which is not on D Live and Twitch yet. So I need to find another platform and I can't choose. I'm thinking many different ones, but we'll see. I'm going to get to that. And thank you, Alexia, so much for
Thank you.
all your good information again. And I'm sure we're going to have you back, because this is one of my favorite topics to actually cover. And I'm sure we discover more and more while we experiment with it. And for anybody that, has any questions, you know where to find us all. So, and if I don't have the answer, I will get it to Alexia.
Yes.
And I thank you so much for being here. And let's keep up with the detox. And let's do maybe we can do a video about detox challenge and then just, inform the audience directly about the things that we're, experiences. We can do that for fun one time, but we'll see. There's still
I
plenty
got a
to
lot of
come.
stories for that. So of myself and others that I can get the sign off to tell.
Yeah,
Tanya.
great. Or you can just share it in my Telegram channel, and
Yes.
then, everybody can actually, these days, we can actually stream from Telegram as well, do a
Really?
Telegram stream. So maybe we can do that so everybody can come in and just ask the questions, you know.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, that's fun too to do. I'm actually thinking for a while now to start doing that on Telegram as well. So thank you so much. And I learned so much from you. And I hope everybody did. And go back and watch last week if you haven't, where she actually covers, like, the mother load
That
of
was a lot. I
detox.
covered a lot. And yeah, I believe my links are in the description. I have series. I just posted episode 5 covering heavy metals and detoxing on Ricky Leaks, which is all on rumble.com.
There you go. There's where I should go, Rumble as well. And
I like that.
Thursday, I not really 100% confirmed yet, but I should have Zoe Jackson. And Zoe Jackson is one amazing woman as well, who does a whole different thing. And but we'll have to see if she's going to confirm with me. And if so, then you're going to see her on Thursday. And we're going to have you back whenever we feel like it, right?
Sounds good. Yes. Sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you to everyone in the comments.
You're welcome. And thank you, everybody, for being here. I hope you all enjoyed it. And, be kind to each other and raise that vibration and get a detox. And peace out, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, all.